Hello, hello. Welcome to another stream. A day earlier than I was expecting, but I've been invited to commentate over the SAFRL league race at Spain. So, some new faces here, a different league, and I am very privileged to be able to commentate for all of these drivers here. Some of them are familiar faces like Kellogg's, Luma Jonas, and Midas. But still, it's going to be a fascinating night. And hopefully we have a good show put on for us. And we are about to get underway with qualifying. And it's a green light at the end of the pit lane, as cars may now roll onto the track and start their qualifying. And we already have a driver leaving his garage. Kubica in the Ferrari, going out onto the track, and there are many others following suit as well. Our first driver out is F1 Andre in the Williams, sporting that dark Williams livery, the Rovo on the side. And he's already entering the final sector with these long corners. Rounding the final turn, F1 Andre activates the overtake button, opens up the DRS flap, and charges down the start-finish straight. 332 kph is the speed he hit. Going through turns 1 and 2. Oh, navigated a bit of slow traffic there in front. I believe that was Impex. Yes, it was. As we go down into turn 4, on board with F1 Andre. Then into the next difficult hairpin of, I believe it's turn 5 or turn 6. Another tricky little left turn that turns into a chicane. And the flat out right-hander at the top of the hill. Hello, Death Creed. Thank you for all the kind words. I will do my best. F1 Andre enters the penultimate corner. Flat out right-hander, and then slight lift for the final turn for burning his battery for a 1 minute 13.6. Will anyone else beat that? Almost immediately, yes. Kubica goes quickest with a 1 minute 13.3. We do have a Mercedes coming across the line. Oh. Something happened here between the two Alpines. Did he gaff? It looks like has had contact with his teammates. A little bit strange what's going on here. We have a Mercedes virus in the penultimate corner as well. Some strange goings on here. Kellogg's Rule goes to the top with a 1 minute 12.6 as a virus starts his own flying lap. So a skull in the Alpine. Don't know what happened there, but that has awarded his teammate a 5 place grid drop, automatically assigned by the game. We have Slow P Gamer going across the line to 4th place, 1 minute 15.0. Osman Siedat is also coming across the line. Yes, he is. Going through the final turn DRS being burnt, DRS open, and he crosses the line. 1 minute 12.8 is the time he sets on the board. We have a McLaren coming through. I believe that is Maluma Jonas, who does go to the top of the times. 1 minute 11.7. First driver to enter the 1 minute 11s. We have a whole flurry of cars here, and the Red Bull gets out of the way, dipping a couple of tyres into the gravel whilst doing so. That is Peter at 84, making sure he gets well out of the way of any incoming traffic, as well as giving his tyres a nice green coating with a little bit of extra special care. That is Virus, who sets a purple sector 1, apparently. We will see if that remains true, as the F1 game does like to lie about purple sectors quite a lot. I believe we have a Skulk going across the line in the McLaren. No, he's entering the pits. I think that's Maluma Jonas. We have a Racing Bulls car coming across the line. Oh, as Virus spins at that long right-hander. Very tricky traction zone. Very easy to spin the car there. Especially if you're not using any assists. That corner is one of the most difficult turns to get right. We have Skull starting his own qualifying flying lap. DRS open for the second DRS zone into this tricky left-hander. Hit the apex nicely, get on the power as quickly as you can without spinning up the rear tyres. And just a long constant radius right-hander. Flat out through this turn. As he flat through this next turn, almost a very, very slight lift through the final turn. He crosses the line of 1 minute 13.1. So currently we have only one driver in the 1 minute 11s and 3 drivers in the 1 minute 12s. And we have a Williams going the wrong way. That's it, Andre. So that difficult right-hander is turn 12. And Skulk has entered the pits. And that is Khatea, I believe, starting his own flying lap. A little bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 4 as we go into this hairpin of turn 5. Nicely on the power. Going to this tricky corner complex of turns 7 and 8 to go through the flat out turn of turn 9 into turn 10. Heavy braking zone. Meet that apex nicely. Hello, good evening, Don Replica. Going ever so slightly off the track there, but the lap is still valid. Then flat through the final turn. Pretty committed, What time does he put on the board? It is a 1 minute 12.7, so we add another driver into the 1 minute 12 lap times. We have Mercedes coming across the line as we have a yellow sector. I believe that's a Sauber going slowly. So who is starting the next lap? Oh, that was Martin. Who jumped up? Maori. The Maori in the Haas jumps up to 4th place. Oh, that Alpine has wing damage. Not very ideal for a qualifying lap. And he enters the pits. And now it's Midas starts his own flying lap. Ahead of him is a McLaren. I believe that could be either Skulk or Maluma Jonas. Turns 1 and 2, navigating them smoothly, and then turn 3, keeping it very, very tight on the exit. Definitely would not be able to do that in a hypercar. And on the exit of turn 4, using all the track quite nicely, setting herself up beautifully for turn 5. Getting on the power nice and smoothly once again. And into turns 7 and 8. Keep it tight, avoid the sausage curb on the outside. Fully committed through turn 9. The eyes open. Break at the 100 meter board, it seems. Apex nicely. Then bring it in for turn 12. Nice and early onto the power. Nicely committed. As it was Maluma Jonas who was in front of him, who improved by a tenth to 1 minute 11.6, and Midas improves to a 1 minute 11.7, so just 1/10 behind. I believe that was Skulk behind. Yes, it was. We also have a Racing Bulls here of Kellogg's Rule. Crossing the line, was that an improvement? I'm not entirely sure. I missed that, but I don't think he really changed position. I think he did. He might have actually jumped Martin there. Currently is looking to be a very good qualifying session for the McLaren drivers. Currently sitting in 1st and 5th. The next team also looking quite well placed is Haas with its Midas and Maui All Blacks 2nd and 7th respectively. We have a Sauber crossing the line, starting a flying lap. So 4 minutes left to go in this session, and we have a couple of drivers running in the gap. It will be a single run left for the majority of drivers here. It's important for them to analyze their lap data back in the garage and see which sectors are they losing out most and where they can improve most. Looking to be a neat lap so far by Haas Cartoon. Hopefully he doesn't utilize any cartoon physics here. Well, it seems like he might be because he just said purple sector 2. Bring on the power nicely there. out of turn 12. The turns 13 and then 14. Does he remain flat? No, he does not. He lifts and even brakes slightly. Downshifts to sixth gear. Drains off his battery and crosses the line. It's only a 13.3, so was that a purple sector 2 or was the game lying to us? Peter 84 dips a tire in the grass for good luck. And we'll come across the line in 16th position, 1 minute 15.6. So still a lot of time for the Red Bull driver to find. We have a Racing Bulls driver entering the pits. That is Slow P Gamer. Virus is on an outlap once again. We have a Red Bull stopped. Oh, he spun. Nicely out of the way. Does he have any damage? So Getea Libby in the Red Bull spun in turn 2. And a little bit of chaos is starting to form here. We have Martin there, exiting the pits. Oh, Osman! Osman's also off. So he was the Aston Martin passing through on a hot lap, and he's ended up off into the gravel. Everything is happening exactly where I'm not looking. Keep an eye on the next person who goes through turns 1 and 2. Is he able to keep it on the road? Yeah, it would be Kellogg's. It looks like, yeah, this is just an outlap. Midas starts his challenge for pole position. This will be his final flying lap. Will he be able to beat Luma Jonas's 1 minute 11.6? Last Cartoon has retired from the session in the pits. So 13th is the highest he will be able to finish this session in. Going once again through turn 4. Using all the outside curb on the entry into turn 5. Getting on the power. To turn 7 and 8. Keep it nice and neat and tidy through here. Avoiding that sausage curb a little bit better this time. To turn 9. DRS open, and what does the sector time tell us as he hits the brakes? And he is 1/10 up. So the fight is on. Purple sector 2. Through turns 12. Leading to 13, into 14. It's only right-handers from now, and they are flat. Does he ever so slightly lift off the throttle? No, he does not. He downshifts to 6th gear. Full throttle all the way throughout, and he sets the new pole time of a 1 minute 11.5. It's Midas on provisional pole for now. But can Millie Jonas reclaim what he has lost? He has certainly set himself out to do so, as he goes a 10th and a half faster than he has ever done so in the first sector. Into turn 7. Oh, he touches the grass and he's wide, and that is the lap over for Maluma Jonas, unless he's able to pull something absolutely miraculous out of the bag in this final sector. Indeed, he is a 10th down. He has actually not lost too much time, but no, he has invalidated, and he spins the car out of frustration. Midas is the car right behind, so he might just caught a glimpse of that spin and will have a smile on his face, knowing that he has secured pole position, as Martin has improved up to 3rd once again. Kellogg's looks like an improvement on lap time, but he lost a position to Martin, and he is currently in 4th place, and it looks like that is qualifying over. Luma Jonas was the last driver out there. But unfortunately for him, the lap fell apart in the middle. this is your qualifying results. Midas on pole, a tenth ahead of Millie Jonas, who have been on provisional pole for the entire session until the final 2 minutes. Carlton did well to secure 3rd place for Mercedes, and Kellogg's Rule finds himself in 4th place. And Skulk rounds out a very good qualifying session for McLaren in 5th position, and Maui All Blacks in the second half is in 8th. So I imagine there'll be a short break here before the race starts. We'll be back soon. And we all go for formation lap. So for tyres, everyone's starting on the softs except for Virus, Impex, and Dill, I will call him, in the Alpine. Or I can call him by his numbers. Call him 992, there we go. The Porsche Cup. So those 3 drivers are on soft tyres, everyone else on the medium. And of course this is Spain with a very long run into turn 1, so do you actually want to start on pole position, or would you rather start in 3rd place and get the slipstream? Or would you rather be in Keegan's or Kellogg's Rules position of 4th place and do a Fernando Alonso and jump from 4th to 1st into turn 1? Well, we're going to have to wait to find out. We have a Haas leading the field, followed by McLaren, followed by Mercedes, followed by a Racing Bulls car. Haas and McLaren looking very strong for constructors' points tonight. Let's see if they will be able to hold on to their positions. And we are about to go green. Green flag in the back. Look to the 5 red lights. And when they go out, we are green in Spain. It is a good start there from the front row. Midas and Maluma Jonas, wheel to wheel. Maluma Jonas seems to have had a bit of a slight lead into turn 1, locking up his brakes on the inside. He is still side by side with Midas. The challenge for the lead is still going on, and Maluma Jonas has secured first place ahead of Midas as we're going to turn 4 out of turn 3. Midas shaping up for a move on the inside, but unable to make anything stick. Martin is being challenged by Kellogg's. Currently around the outside goes the Racing Bulls driver. We have a little bit of carnage in the back as I see there's an Alpine, a Williams of F1 Andre going slow. And it looks like as though everything has calmed down a little bit at the front of the field. Looking through the pack here, and they have spaced each other out somewhat now as we go through turn 9. The flat out turn, we see a Red Bull here challenging the Aston Martin of Osman. Levy around the outside. A lot of grip out there for him to exploit. And he does have a penalty apparently, so we'll take a look to see what that is. That's a 10-second penalty. So I wonder what that could be for. You have a move further back there between Gambitsa and Peter. But currently it is Maluma Jonas in the McLaren. The man who had been on provisional pole for so long during the qualifying session, but lost it right at the very end. He has regained that P1 slot, straight back ahead of Midas. It was a good start for the McLaren man. He pulled level with the Haas driver, managed to inch ahead into the braking zone of turn 1, and held on to that advantage all the way to turns 2 and 3. So it is currently single file throughout the rest of the pack. Kellogg's Rule sitting there in 4th place, right behind the Mercedes of Martin. Currently everyone except Kellogg's is within a second of each other as we have a yellow flag there. Peter 84 off the track. Once again. But he is able to get going. I believe Impex has not been able to rejoin the server yet. Let's take a look at the fight in the midfield once again, as it has closed up at the front of this pack. We will keep an eye on Midas and Maluma Jonas. Midas is in a good position here. He can afford to just simply look after his tyres in the corners and utilise DRS on the straights to pull himself back up towards Maluma Jonas. Of course, this is Spain. You've got a lot of high-speed long corners, and dirt here is a big factor around here. To ride on board with Skulk in the McLaren, hunting down Kellogg's Rule, who seems to be suffering a little bit for pace at this stage of the race. Oh, a little bit of a move being shaped by the Red Bull of Gheteo Leby. Behind Osman, still applying the pressure, not letting him go. The top 3 have broken away from the rest of the pack. Kellogg's Rule still continuing to drop further and further behind, as at the front we have a fight for the lead. Maluma Jonas defending against Midas. The gap was 6/10 at the start of the straight, so I did not imagine that they would be fighting with each other into turn 1, but they were. Midas really applying the pressure now on Maluma Jonas. He is not letting this one escape, as we do see a move further back. Slow P Gamer getting up the inside of Skull in the Alpine. Or was that Slow P Gamer getting past Virus? I'm not entirely sure. But definitely keep an eye on the top 2. They are very close to each other. In fact, our cyclists are going to have to look at them, lest Midas suddenly decides to throw a dive bomb up the inside and I miss it. We have fight going on here. Skull and Virus. Oh, we have a slow car here. That is Dill. 992 going slow, as we have Gambitsa fighting it out with the Williams. We are going to go back to the front of this field as we see Osman going wide, potentially getting a track limit warning for that. Midas though not close enough for a move here. Kellogg's holding on to fourth as well. We have Harsh Cartoon there in 12th place ahead of this pack of 3 of Gambitsa and F1 Andre. So we have the different trains separating out. We've got a big battle here for 4th place. 5 cars in a train here, all hoping to challenge for 4th place by the end of this Grand Prix. And then we have a train of 3 at the front, all fighting for first position. We have Martin in the Mercedes, just simply sitting there in the back, watching it all unfold, hoping that the top 2 get involved in an incident with each other so that he can pick up the scraps and take first place of this Grand Prix. Lap 6 out of 33, and the fight for P1 is still as hot as ever, as Midas looks very, very close for a move. Maluma Jonas doing a defensive shake to the inside right before the braking zone, making sure that Midas has no thoughts about throwing one up the inside. Kellogg's having to do a similar thing with Skulk. Dot Bears right behind him. And now we settle down for the rest of the track. So in terms of strategy, I believe Spain is pretty much just a one-stop. I don't think the tyre deg is too high around here in terms of lap time. You do have to be careful with your tyres, you have to look after them so that they can make the distance, but I don't think a two-stop is too viable around here. Unless, of course, there's a safety car or a virtual safety car. Nice heli cam shot here. Move further back there as Virus enters the pits off the softs. He will probably be on a two-stop potentially, although he was able to make his softs last for 6 laps. So he might just be able to take hard tyres to the end if he chooses to take hard tyres, which he does. We have a move further back here. F1 Andre working his way through the field, getting past Harsh Cartoon in the Sauber. Slow P gamer, the first driver with a penalty for track limits. That is a 3-second penalty awarded to the Racing Bulls driver. Currently, Kellogg's is doing the Fernando Alonso duty of forming a multi-car train and dropping several seconds behind the leaders. Don't know if that is a conscious choice or if it is just his pace for now. He does have a full battery, so he's definitely conserving his battery and doing a good job managing that battery percentage and making sure he is not left like a sitting duck on the straight. Oh, McLaren goes wide. Skulk made a mistake, potentially loss of traction between turn 1 and 2. Sets him up wide and allows Osman to get past into 5th place. We do have a Ferrari going very, very slowly there in the final sector. He's just going very slowly. Back to the front of the field. Maluma Jonas still half a second ahead of Midas. But as you can see, Maluma Jonas now has more battery than Midas does. And Midas was pushing hard in those first couple of laps to regain P1. So Has might just burned through his tires and his battery a little bit more than William Jonas. If he has, then that will give a 1 up to William Jonas in this chess game. Rateo looks like he might have made another mistake there as Slow P Gamer enters the pits. A look to the front of the field. Mine is unable to mount any sort of challenge on William Jonas into turn 1. And we have Peter spun around once again, just as we have a Ferrari here on the inside of turn 3. As the FIA decide that cruising around in the grass is worthy of a 10-second penalty for cutting the track and gaining an advantage. Oh, FIA, I think you need to open your eyes a bit and read the dictionary as to what the definition of gaining an advantage is. Lap 9 out of 33, we are nearing the pit stop window for all of the front runners here. William Jonas leads by 4/10 to Midas behind in the Haas. Further 8/10 behind is Martin in the Mercedes in 3rd place. And 6.7 seconds behind, almost 7 seconds behind, is Kellogg's Rule in the Racing Bulls. Hitting a train of 3 cars now. Osman behind him in 5th and Skulk in 6th position. Just hanging on to the back of that train. Skulk finds himself in a bit of no man's land here in 7th place, 2.2 seconds behind Skulk and 1.6 seconds ahead of Getaea Libby, who has a 10-second penalty. So he will have to serve that at the next pit stop. In 9th place we have Maui All Blacks in the 2nd Haas car. And F1 Andre, after having a bad first lap, potentially a spin, I was not able to capture what happened to him, but he has worked his way up nicely, back up into 10th place. So far our only drivers to make a visit to the pit lane is Slow P Gamer, Virus and Impex. Slow P Gamer being the lead driver of those who have pitted so far. At the front we have a challenge for the lead of the race once again, as Maluma Jonas has to defend to the inside to prevent Midas from being able to overtake. Midas looked to the outside but backed out of it in the braking zone. Midas right now would be a good idea for him to start conserving his battery. We are nearing the pit stops, and if he can go 1 lap longer or pit early and get the undercut, it would be beneficial for him to have a full battery to do so. And Dill992 has entered the pits, getting rid of his soft tires. He's been able to take them a long way. He rejoins directly behind Peter84. At the front, we have Maluma Jonas still leading by half a second. Midas seemingly gaining quite a bit on the straight, so potentially a difference in setup there between the two front runners. Midas could be running a slightly lower downforce setup, as we have a Haas spun there. That is Maui All Blacks going very slow there. No damage to his front wing, but he definitely lost position there to Gamitsa and F1 Andre, who's up into 8th place, as Getaea Libby has entered the pits to get rid of his 10-second penalty. And we are catching up here to the very slow Ferrari of Impex right now, who makes her to stay out of the way, and he is also ghosting, so hopefully no danger being posed here to the front runners. As Kellogg's continues to do his Fernando Alonso impression here at the beginning of the race. dropping down to 9 seconds behind the top 3. The train has shrunk a little bit, but there is about to be a new member, a new caboose, in the form of an Alpine being piloted by Skull. Lap 13 and still the front runners stay out. They are going as long as they can into this Grand Prix before putting on the harder tyre rubber. And Gambitsa has entered the pits. A good first stint, climbing up to, I believe it was 8th position. Or 9th position. And he has now entered the pits to get rid of those medium tyres and put on a set of hard tyres. 20 laps to go after this one. And currently, the top 7 are all within 13 seconds of the leader, William Jonas. Impix has retired from the session in the pits. Death Queen cheering on Scully. They're in 7th place. The Alpine driver doing a good job so far. Top 3 continuing to stay out, but Midas starting to struggle a bit for battery here. Down to 18% on the straight and unable to mount any sort of challenge on William Jonas. And the engine of this train has now entered the pits, leaving Skulk to become the new engine. And Skull is not happy with being the caboose, he wants to be the engine himself. And he's fighting as hard as he can, but Dirty Air has a different idea. And says, no, you are not going to challenge Skulk, you are going to wash wide off the track in turn 3, thank you very much. And Kellogg's Rule has rejoined in 7th place. Osman also joined him in the pits and comes out directly in front of Slow P Gamer. And now out at the front of the field, William Jonas has almost broken outside of DRS range of its Midas. And Midas has lost the DRS. So this is crucial. William Jonas setting himself up perfectly for this set of pit stops, allowing himself to start to open a bit of a gap and gain even more of an advantage over his competition behind him. And Skulk and Skull have both entered the pits. Do the Alpine crew do a good job and get him out ahead? No, do not get him out ahead of Skulk, but he does rejoin directly behind the McLaren driver. We have Slow P Gamer here, who's going to be challenging Osman into turn 1. He is close, he's on 5 lap older hard tyres, but oh, it's got to be 3 wide into turn 1, and he makes a move around the outside of Skulk, threading the needle. Threading the eye of the needle between Skulk and Osman. Slow P Gamer weaving between the two of them to take 6th place, but he is on 6th lap old hards. They are already up to temperature, but that is the only advantage he'll have for now, because very soon all of these drivers behind him will have a major grip advantage. And the top 3 have all pitted at the same time. Undercut, overcut, now we're all pitted at the same time. Who needs strategy complexes when you can just simply all follow the exact same strategy and come out in the same order? Definitely looked like as though William Jonas had a slightly quicker pit stop as Midas. Yeah, damaged his front wing. I did not know that. Wow, so Midas, with damage there to his front wing, has dropped behind Martin in the Mercedes. Wow. I don't know why you didn't know about this live comms, Spikes. Hello, welcome to the stream. And we have a big fight here going on between Slow P Gamer and Skulk. Skulk unable to get past Slow P Gamer, so Slow P Gamer becoming the new Fernando Alonso. And guess what? It's the same livery as his teammate Kellogg's Rule, who held up everyone else before the pits, and now Slow P Gamer returning the favour and becoming the new engine for the new train. And currently we have F1 Andre being the second, well, one of two drivers to go longest on the mediums. He has gone 15 laps on those mediums. I believe Peter84 went 1 lap less, but he's down there in 16th. So F1 Andre, having gone very, very long on these mediums, has found himself sitting straight to the top of the field in second place. Hitting his marks, going down to 80 kph, and he will be greeted by his pit crew in the Williams garage. Good pit stop as Skull has retired from the session. Oh no, Skull in the war. And that is his race over there, stuck in the gravel. Oh, but he's rejoining the track. That is interesting. I thought he was, I thought that was terminal damage, but it looks like as though the car was still good to continue, but he has decided to retire from the session. And it's lap 18 out of 33. All the pit stops have been made, and it is currently Milima Jonas out in front with a lead of almost 5 seconds over Martin in the Mercedes. It's might as we see Slow P Gamer going off the track and electing to use the runoff area. And he has lost a couple of positions because of that. So Slow P Gamer on the older set of tyres here of this pack, and definitely finding himself with the least amount of grip. Having to use all of the track and more there in turns 1 and 2. So, as I was saying, it is currently Milima Jonas out in front with a 5-second lead over Martin. It's Midas putting on a bit of a charge right now that he has replaced his front wing and fixed whatever issue was bothering him. He now finds himself in 3rd place, only 3 seconds behind Martin. So that will be Midas's goal for the rest of this Grand Prix, is catch Martin in the Mercedes for 2nd place, excuse me. We saw Slow P Gamer going a little bit slow there once again, perhaps another mistake, perhaps a spin or a slide. As we have a Red Bull stuck in the middle of the track. That is Peter getting out of the way quite nicely for everyone else behind. And now Kellogg's finds himself in a bit of no man's land, 7 seconds off the back of Midas, but almost 6 seconds ahead of Skulk behind him. Maui has dropped a couple of positions so far. He's currently then 11th, being challenged by Gatea, who has served his 10-second penalty. So, points beginning to slip away for the Haas team, but the McLaren team still looking very, very strong indeed. And Milima Jonas has properly put the hammer down, setting a new fastest lap and opening up his lead over Martin de Brain even more. Now it is 6 seconds. as Slopey Gamer has lost another position to Gambitza in the same spot, so potentially struggling a lot for traction there out of turn 12. A very difficult turn. And if you have a tyre wear advantage, you'll definitely have a lot more grip in that turn, as there's a little bit of contact there between the two cars. Slopey Gamer fights back with Gambitza. A lot of wheel banging and a lot of tyre hooking going on there. But Slopey Gamer manages to get back in front, but then touches the grass slightly and is now very, very slow on the inside for turn 4. As Gambitza sweeps around the outside, he says, "You may fight with me for as long as you want, but I will get past you eventually." Now, F1 Andre is right behind with the freshest tyres out of everyone. 3 laps done on his hard so far. Going through turns 7 and 8, keeping it very neat and tidy. A little bit of a lift there on the entry to make sure he does not run wide due to dirty air. And this time we will watch Slopey Gamer through turn 12. I'm not going to cut away. Okay, so Slopey Gamer, if you want to have a spin now, you can do it. I'm watching. And of course there's no drama. Classic. Classic commentary things. Well, Slopey Gamer is now within DOS of Gambitza, so he can try and utilize that DOS to hold his position ahead of F1 Andre and not drop down even further. It is still a question as to whether he will be able to take those tyres all the way to the end of this race. And Khatea Levy on the back of Maui here into turn 4. Elects to stay behind for now. It definitely has more pace at the stage, even though he does have the older set of tyres. Maui All Blacks struggling a little bit for grip. Meanwhile, at the front, Midas has caught up to 1 second of Martin in the Mercedes. I don't think he'll have DRS yet, though he is now 9/10ths behind. No, he does have DRS, so he was close enough. He got the DRS and the DRS to take some points. But look at his battery, almost completely flat, so he will be glad that he caught DRS, and now he can focus on recharging his battery, as the slipstream will help him in all of the straights here around Spain. And Slopey Gamer enters the pits and decides that he is not going to try and take those hard tyres all the way to the end of the race. 10 laps to go after this one. We're on lap 22 out of 33. We currently have a fight going on for 2nd place, a fight going on for 5th place, and a fight for 7th place, as well as 9th place. So, penalties. Oh! Interesting. These two cars, these two drivers swapping positions there momentarily. I don't know what happened there. I was not looking, and of course something happened. If I was looking, nothing would have happened. That screen out of our way as we look at Midas diving up the inside into turn 1 of Martin's Mercedes, and unable to make anything stick. So currently in terms of penalties, Slopey Gamer is on 9 seconds and Dylan is on 10 seconds. So Gambitza is up 5 places and Andre is also up 5 places. Let's go on board with him quickly, as Khatea Levy enters the pits and retires from the session. Let's go back up to Midas and Martin and make sure that they don't do anything funny this time while we are not looking. And currently Maluma Jonas is just continuing to grow his lead at the front, just now up to 10 seconds. He's just running away with this race so far. The eye is open for Midas. He is very close here. shapes for the inside, and Martin doesn't even bother defending and lets him through well before the braking zone. And that is second place secured once again for Midas in the Haas. Again. I'll be back shortly. I'm just going to try and rejoin the lobby. Yeah, so unfortunately we lost connection with the lobby. I don't know if I will be able to rejoin. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, that's an unfortunate end to the stream. I don't have any of the current drivers there as friends on Steam, so I can't join the lobby without an invite. Yeah, it does look like as though my internet dropped a bit on my side because I see the stream also froze for a bit. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There's only like 8 laps left to go in the race, but we'd still like to have been there to watch the end. I was going to wait for another minute or so, but otherwise I'll end the stream. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, fortunately, that's the end of that. I think the race is almost over by now. But big thanks to SAFRL for letting me commentate over the race tonight. It was definitely quite entertaining. Unfortunate about the disconnect, but yeah, unfortunately, these internet things can happen. And yeah, if you're still watching to this part of the stream, well, thanks for watching. It was definitely a good race, and I enjoy commentating over it. Some good battles up and down the field, a couple of different strategies going on. We had a couple of different trains being formed. But yeah, let's see who won the race. I believe it was Millie Jonas who won. Looks like as though it stayed being Millie Jonas, Midas, and Martin on the podium. So congrats to those three. They all deserve their places on the podium tonight. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Death Queen and Don Repico and Spikes for joining in the chat. I'll be streaming again tomorrow night for Tier 1 in Fusion. As I will be driving in that series. It's a sprint race at Imola, and I'll be starting way at the back of the pack for the sprint race. So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.